Okay, good morning, class. Kindly pick up those pieces of paper there, and there, and there. Okay, thank you. Kindly stand for our prayer, okay? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Okay, who can tell me who is absent today? Alright? Yes, can you stand? Miss Lindsay, what happened to her? Alright, okay, I see. Thank you. And who can recall what was our last topic, last meeting? Alright, Mr. Breeze, yes? Okay, last time we talked about parts of speech. Thank you, Mr. Breeze. So before we start, let me introduce to you to our objectives for today's lesson, alright? So our objectives, everyone read. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to, alright, everyone read, identify the literary devices. Number 2, make a short sentences using literary devices. And last one, appreciate the use of literary devices through a short poem making. Alright, so I have here some jumbled words with corresponding definitions. Now I want you to guess what kind of word it is. Alright, understood? Okay, number 1. A comparison between two unlike things without using like or as. Example, life is a journey. So anyone who can guess what word it is? Anyone? It seems like no one had idea what kind of word it is. So this is what we call metaphor. Alright. Number 2. Okay, everyone read. Giving human qualities to non-human objects or things. Example, the sun smiled down to us. Okay, this one, I want, anyone have an idea what kind of word it is? Yes, just real, yes. Exactly. This is what we call personification. Alright, thank you, just real. Okay, another one. Okay, everyone read. Using descriptive language to create a sensory experience for the reader. Example, the golden sunlight filtered through the trees and danced on the forest floor. Okay? Anyone? It seems like no one. So this is what we call imagery. Okay, last one. Yeah. I want you to read this one again. Using an object or image to represent an idea or concept. Alright. Yes, Mr. Jeff. Alright. Exactly. This is what we call symbolism. Okay. Thank you for sharing your answers. Now, you might wondering what kind of word that I present to you now. Okay. So those words are what we call literary devices. And we have another examples for that, like simile, alliteration, hyperbole, and etc. that we will going to discuss later on. Alright, but first, what is literary devices? Anyone? Anyone who can give their insights? Alright? Okay? Okay. So, literary devices. Okay, read everyone. Literary devices work alongside plot and characters to elevate the story and prompt reflections on life, society, and what it means to be human by Masterclass 2021. Alright. Thank you. Another definition of literary devices is, these are the specific techniques that allow a writer to convey something in a unique way. They can be used to create imagery, set a tone, create a suspense, or make point. Some common literary devices include metaphor, simile, imagery, and irony. Okay, take note, class, that literary devices are being used by the writers in order for their works or their literary pieces to become more unique and more different from other works. Alright? Understood? Okay. So, literary devices have different kinds. Okay, what are those kinds of literary devices? So first, number 1, we have a simile. Okay, everyone who can read what is simile. Okay, simile is a literary device that is used to make a comparison between two things using the word like or as. Okay, thank you. Take note that simile is the comparison of two unlike things using the word like or as. For example, she cried like a baby. Now, the word she there is being compared to what? Okay, just real? The baby. Okay, thank you. Very good. And what word does being used there to compare the word she and the baby? Yes, Mr. Breeze. Okay, very good. The word like. Okay. Now, let's go to another one. We have alliteration. Everyone read? Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound or letter at the beginning of multiple words in a sentence or phrase. So this literary device is often used to create a musical or rhythmic effect in the poetry or prose. So take note that alliteration is the repetition of the same sound or the letter. Alright? So from this example, everyone read? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So, from this example, what sound of letter is being repeated numerous times and what letter also? Yeah. Alright. The letter P. Alright. Okay, another one. We have metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison between two unlike things that highlights a particular quality or characteristics. Take note, class, that metaphor and simile is quite similar, but the only difference is metaphor is not using the word like or as to compare something, unlike simile is using the word like or as. Okay, thank you. Now, example of metaphor, we have this: life is a journey. Life and journey is being compared, right? Okay, understood? All right. Any question, class? None? None so far? Okay, let's proceed. Okay, number 4, we have foreshadowing. Yeah. Everyone read? Foreshadowing is a literary device that hints at or suggests what will happen later in the story. It often creates suspense and can help to build tension as the reader anticipates the outcome of the story. Okay, understood? Alright. Now let's proceed to another one. Hyperbole. Read, everyone. Is an exaggeration of or overstatement used for emphasis or effect. So this literary device often used in humor or satire, but can also be used to create a dramatic effect. Example: I've told you a million times. So what word is being exaggerated there? The word what? Okay, exactly. The word million. But you can also say it, I've told you many times. But instead of using the word many, he changed it into millions in order to become more exaggerated, okay? Alright, and that is what we call hyperbole. Okay, next one. We have imagery. Imagery is the use of language to create a vivid sensory experience for the reader. It often involves descriptions of sight, sounds, smell, and taste, and also touch, and can be used to create a specific mode or tone, alright? Example of imagery. The sun sank into the horizon, painting the sky with a shade of orange and pink, casting a warm glow over the field of golden web. Okay? Any question? None again so far. Okay, let's proceed to another one. Now, personification. Personification is, read everyone, a literary device that gives human characteristics or qualities to non-human objects or ideas. It is often used to create a sense of empathy or connection between the reader and the object or idea being personified. Okay? Take note that personification is giving the human characteristics to the non-human objects. For example, the wind whispered through the trees. So, the non-human objects there is the word wind. But he was given a human characteristic which is whispered. Okay. Very good. Next one, we have irony. It's a literary device which the intended meaning of a word or situation is different from the actual meaning or outcome. It can be used to create humor, emphasize a point, or create a sense of dramatic tension. Okay? Example: a fire station burns down. Even though it is not possible that the fire station would burn. Okay, thank you. And last one, we have this what we call onomatopoeia. Alright, very good. Now, anyone read what is the definition of onomatopoeia? It is literary devices in which a word imitates or suggests the sounds that is described. It is often used in poetry and can be used to create a sensory experience for the reader. Example, the bees bustled in the ground. Alright? Understood? Questions so far? None? How about there? Alright, it seems like you understand what I am talking about today, okay? So since you don't have a question, we will have a quiz time. Alright, now get 1/2 sheet of paper, and for 5 minutes, I want you to choose at least three literary devices and use those literary devices in making a sentence, alright? Okay, your time starts now. Okay? And I forget class that after you finish the quiz, I am going to call someone to share their ideas in front of the class, okay? Okay. Okay, time's up. Now, Jasril, can you please share your answer to the class? Alright? Okay, very good, Jasril. Thank you for sharing your answers. How about you, Mr. Breeze? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Breeze. Your answers are brilliant. Okay. How about you, Mr. Jeff? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jeff. Your answers are also amazing. Okay. It seems like you have answered the quiz correctly. Now, for our next topic, who can answer what kind of bird it is? This is what we call blank. Mr. Francis, all right? Can you stand? What kind of bird it is? Exactly. This is what we call the raven. And this picture will have some impact in our next topic, which is all about a poem called The Raven, written by Edgar Allan Poe. But first, who is Edgar Allan Poe? Edgar Allan Poe was an American writer, poet, editor, and literary critic who is best known for his poetry and short stories, particularly his tales of mysteries and the macabre. He is widely regarded as a central figure of Romanticism in the United States and of American literature. That is according to Wikipedia. Now, he was born on January 19, 1809 in Boston. He was died on October 7, 1849. And his spouse is Virginia Eliza Clem Poe, and his parents is David Poe Jr. and Eliza Poe. Alright? So, class, before you're going to read the poem, I want you to take note of these guide questions that you will going to answer after you have read the poem, right? Okay. Okay. Class, kindly read the guided questions. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. Okay, thank you. So now let's proceed to the poem. I want you to read this for 10 minutes and you will later on you will answer the guided question, all right? Okay. Okay. All right. Proceed. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Finally, you have finished reading the poem. Okay. Now, I have a question. What was the poem all about? Yes, Mr. Jeff? Alright, exactly. Thank you, Jeff. So, the poem was all about a man that is being suffered from loss and grief because his wife is dead. And who is his wife? Yes, Mr. Jezreel? Lenore, yes, exactly. So the poem ends with the man resigning himself to the raven's presence, as it was purchased permanently in the bust above the chamber door, now casting a shadow that symbolizes his eternal despair. Now the raven's repetition of the word, what word again? Nevermore, exactly, leaves the protagonist in a state of perpetual anguish, trapped in his grief and haunted by the unending reminder of his lost. Okay, now let's go back to the guide question. Now answer this guide question for 5 minutes, okay? And later on, I will call another 3 to share their ideas in the class, alright? Okay, your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Now, Miss Antepuesto, can you please share your ideas or your answers in front of the class? Okay? Okay, thank you, Miss Antepuesto. Now, another one, we have Aginsatan. Can you please share your answers to the class? Alright? Okay, thank you, Miss Aginsatan. And last one, may I call on Mr. Joel Escanilla? Okay, Sir Joel? Alright. So those answers are correct, alright? And I am glad that you have answered these guide questions correctly. Alright. And that ends our presentation for our session for today's lesson, alright? And I hope you have learned something. Thank you for your listening and active participation, class. Okay, please stand. Goodbye, class. Alright. Goodbye, everyone.